Hey there, fellow coders. Welcome back to our channel, where we explore the fantastic world of programming. Today, we have something exciting in store for you, which is called control structure. If you are new to this channel and watching this video, so you may check out our previous video in which we teach every concept in very detail. So let's go. That's right. Control structures are like building block of any program, allowing you to make decisions and repeat action based on certain conditions. So in this video, we will explain various control structures such as if-else statements, loops. There are basically three types of loops: for, while and do while. So we will learn all about this, and then we will learn about switch case statement, and we will also demonstrate their usage with some super cool examples. So I hope you all are excited. Let's dive right in. Here, as you see, the basic definition of control structure is: control structure in programming control the order in which instructions are executed. It includes sequential execution, which means line by line. For examples, here you have certain instruction set. And what is a sequential execution? Sequential executions means the first line will be executed first and the second line will be executed. Likewise, all other lines will be executed. So this is the basic ordering of executing the program. And the second one is conditional execution, which means in which it execute in conditions. For example, and there is a condition: if you are 18 plus, then you can vote, or otherwise if you are below 18 you cannot vote. So these are conditions. Any one of these conditions are true, this type of executions is called conditional execution. And the third one is repeated execution, which is commonly known as looping, and it is very important topic. So control structure basically contains three types, which is if-else statement, and the second is loops. As I already discussed earlier, there are three type of loop: for, while and do while. And the third type is switch case statement. So let's see all of them one by one. So here it is: if-else statement. So let's start with if-else statement. So, what is the use of if-else statement? They basically help us make decisions in our code. So, if-else statement in C++ allow the program to make decisions based on the conditions. If the condition is true, the code inside the if block is executed. Otherwise, if the condition is false, the code inside the else block is executed. So here we have a block of code, and inside that block of code we have two type of statements: if statement, and here we have certain conditions, and inside the if statement there is certain task we have to perform, and the other one is else. So it also have certain type of actions to perform. So if our conditions matches, then if block will be executed. Otherwise, if the if our conditions is not matched, then the else block will be executed. So that is the basic use of if else statement. As you see, the syntax of if else statement. So here it is the basic syntax. If is the keyword, so we write first keyword, which is if, and inside the parentheses we have to write the conditions. So this if statement will check the conditions. If the conditions is true, then this code will be executed. If this condition is false, then this else part will be executed. Hence, the code inside this else part will be executed. This is the basic use of if-else statement, and here it is the basic syntax, and you have to remember it. Remember this syntax. It is a very important syntax, and you have to use this syntax in every part of your programming journey. It is a very, very important syntax you have to learn. So let's continue to the next section, which is a task. And in this task, we have to write a C++ program to check the given number is even or odd. So here in this task, you have to write a C++ program to check whether the given number is even or odd. If you are not familiar how to check if if a number is even or odd, so in the previous video I have already discussed about modulo operator. If you haven't watched this, so you can pause this video here and go to the previous video and watch it and then came back to this video. So if you know about the conditions how to check a number is even or odd, that's well and good. Now I am about to discussing how you can check if a number is even or odd. For example, if you have a number which is stored in A and the number is 10. Here we will use modulo operator. So the condition will be A modulo to should be is equals to 0. As in the previous video, I already discussed this 2 is equals to sign is for comparison. This will compare if the answer of this uh, is 0 or not. If if both are zeros, then it will return true, otherwise it will return false. So let's check if a modulo 2 is 0 or not. So modulo is the remainder. So for example, here if I divide 10 by 2, as you all know, 2 5s are 10. So here it is the 5 and here it is 10. So the remainder is 0. As you see, the 0 is equals to 0. So this will return true as both both the sides are same. As we all know, this is the even number. So let's check if a is equals to, first of all let me erase all this. So let's check if a is equals to 5 is even or odd. First of all, I will divide 5 by 2 and I have to mainly focus on the remainder part. So as we all know, 2 to the 4 and 5 minus 4 is equals to 1. As you see, remainder is 1 and 1 is not is equals to 0. So this will return false and the else part of the statement will be executed. So let's go to the VS Code and starts our coding and starts to write our program. So let's get started to write our program. First of all, so let me show you a basic program of if else statement. First of all, I have to write the basic syntax to write C++ code. Here it is. As you all know, I have already explained all about it in previous video. So first of all, let me write a program about if else statement. So our first program of if else statement will be to check if you are eligible to vote or not. So this is our first program that we have to write. So let's start it to write our first program. So first of all, I have to take a variable. So I will take a variable named edge, and then I will give a command cout, and I will write the keyword cout for printing on the console. And here I will write enter your edge. After all, I then write sen for taking the input, and I have to write the variable which is edge, and here I have to write the conditions. As I already stated earlier, for checking the condition you have to write if keyword first, and then you have to put parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis you have to put the conditions, and here you have to put the conditions. As you all know, if your age is greater than or is equals to 18, then you are eligible for vote. So I have to write it if your age is greater than or equals to 18, then this line will be which is cout you are you can vote, and after then I will write endl. If you are less than 18, then this command will be executed, which is sorry, you are not old enough to vote. So this is the basic program I can write to demonstrate if else condition. Now let me run this program. It given output which state enter your age. So I have to enter my age. Let my age is 90, and you can see that you can vote because my age is greater than 18, so I can vote. And if I rerun this code again, and here if I write my age is 1, so you can see the output is sorry, you are not old enough to vote. And the main motto of our program is accomplished. So here I have commented this program, and now we will do our task which is assigned to us. So if anybody has any idea how you can do this task, and this one, if anybody know how you can write this program, so you can comment your code in the comment section. So let's get started to write our program. The name of our program is C++ program to check the given number is even or odd. So let's get started to write the program. First of all, I have to take a variable, and I will take a variable name and num. And first of all, I have to take the input from the user. For taking the input from the user, I will write enter a number, and then sin for taking input, and the variable is num. So here I have to write the condition. So the condition is if, as I discussed earlier, if the given number is divisible by 2, then it will be even. So I will write if num modulo 2 is equals to 0, then it will print the number is even. If this condition is not satisfied, then the other part of the program is executed, which we will write inside the else, and we will put the curly braces, and then we will print cout the number is even, and then endl. So this is the basic program which will check if the given number is even or odd. So let me run this program for you, and here it give an output which is enter a number. I will enter a number, let me enter 9. So if here I have made a mistake, I have to write odd here. So first of all, let me clear this terminal, and I will rerun this code. And here it state enter number. I will write 9, and as you see the number is odd. And I will run this code again, and if I enter 10, as you see the number is even. So our code is running properly. And now we will continue to our next section, which is loops. Now let's move on to loops. So loops in C++ allows a set of instruction to be repeated multiple times. As you see, there are different type of loop, which is while loop, do while loop, and for loop. And first of all, let me clear out what is a loop. So let me change the color of the pen, and I will choose green. As so, loop is a block of code which will rerun itself again and again until it hit its termination condition. For example, if a loop is running and it have a terminating condition, as if it get I is equals to 5, then it will terminate. So whenever I will be equal to 5, then the loop will be terminated and the further part of the code will be executed. So this is the basic use of loop. So let's write some code to demonstrate how the loop works. First of all, let me comment out this part, and here we start our loop section. So let me write loops, and our first loop will be for loop, and this loop is basically used in many places, and you have to use this loop in your every program, and this is a very common loop, and I will help you to learn this loop in under 5 minutes. So let's get started. So first of all, I will write cout and for loop, and here we start demonstrating the for loop. So first of all, let me show you the syntax of for loop. For loop, as you see, the syntax of for loop, which is first of all you have to write the keyword which is for, and then inside the parenthesis there are three parts, which is initialization, condition, and update. and inside the parenthesis you have to write the code which have to repeat it again and again. So as you see, inside the parenthesis there are three parts, which is initialization and then condition and then update. Here in this initialization part you have to initialize a variable, and here in the condition part you have to write the condition when the for loop will be terminated or break. And here in this update part you have to write how this for loop will be updated, whether it will be updated by the step of 1 or by the step of 2, or what will be the increment criteria or decrement criteria. So let's get started to execute our for loop. As I show you the syntax, first of all I have to write for keyword, and then inside the parenthesis I have to first of all write the initialization, and here I will initialize my variable I, and I will initialize it with 0. And as you see, I have to put a semicolon here, and after that I have to write the part of condition. So in this condition part I have to give the condition in which the for loop will be terminated. So I will write the condition as I less than is equals to 5. So what this statement means: until and unless I reaches to 5, the loop will be running. Whenever I will reach to the 5, then the loop will be terminated. And in the last part I have to write about the update. So I will increase the loop by a step of 1. So for doing this I have to write I plus plus, and inside this parenthesis I have to write my task to accomplish. So I want to print I and then endl. As you all see, I is an integer, so I have to write I here. And if I run this program, what it will give us: first of all it write for loop, as you see, because of this line, and then here our main result. As you see, I runs from 0 to 5, and is increasing by a step of 1. As you see, 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. So until and unless I touches the integer 5, it runs. Whenever it touches the integer 5, it stops. As you see here, it's the termination of the for loop. So now let's continue with the while loop. First of all, let me show you the snippet of while loop. Here it's the snippet of while loop, or we can say the syntax of while loop. As you see, the code start from the keyword while, and inside the parenthesis I have to mention only the conditions, and inside the parenthesis I have to write the code which have to repeat. So this is the basic syntax of while loop. Now let me demonstrate you. As you see the syntax of while loop, so first of all let me write while loop and as I write all these lines for decoration purposes, so that you can easily distinguish between different type of loops. Now let's start our while loop. So in the while loop, here as you see, here I have to initialize the variable inside the parenthesis of for loop, but in the condition but in the case of while loop, I have to declare the variable outside the parenthesis. So first step is to declare the variable. So I will declare the variable as j is equals to 0, and then here I have declared the variable, and then I have to write while, and I have to put parenthesis, and inside this parenthesis I have to write the conditions in which the while loop will be terminated. So the condition will be when j less than is equals to 5, then this while loop will be terminated. So until and unless this conditions is achieved, in that time I will run this code cout j and then endl, and here as you see I have to write increment operation here. Here I have also to write an increment operation. So for writing the increment operation I have to write j and then plus plus for increment operation. So let me run this code for you. As you see, this is for loop, and then this is for while loop. As you see, both the results are same because the stopping conditions is same. This is the conditions in which the loop is stopped. So till this time we have discussed about the for loop and then while loop, and our next loop is do while loop. So first of all, let me show you the syntax of do while loop. So this is the syntax of a do while loop. Here I have to start with the keyword do, and inside this curly braces first of all I have to write the code which have to repeat it again and again, and after all this I have to give the conditions. So for giving the conditions I have to write the keyword while, and inside the parenthesis I have to condition. It is similar to while, but what is the basic difference of while and do while is that while will first check the condition and then run this code. In the case of do while, it will run the code first and then check the condition. Is this condition true or not? Okay, so this is the basic difference. So let me repeat it again. In the case of while, it will first check the condition, then it will run the code. If the condition is false, then it will not run the code. But in the case of do while, it will run the code first and then check the condition. So in the first turn, it will run the code, and if the condition is false, then it will stop the code. But in the case of while, it will firstly check the condition. If the condition is false, then it will not run the code. So we will not get any output. But here, in the case of do while, we will get an output first. But in the next step, if the condition is wrong, then we will not get an output. So this is the basic difference of while and do while. Now let's go to the coding part of do while. First of all, let me write cout do while, and then endl, So here, same as the case of while, I have to first of all I have to initialize a variable. So I will name a variable k is equals to 0, and here it is our initialization part. So here it is our initialization part, and then same same in the case of while, so it is also a initialization part. Now after initialization our main process start. So firstly I have to write the keyword do, and then parenthesis, and here I have to write the quotes cout I and l. So but in the case of do I have to write the variable k. After that I have to write the update part. As you see similar to the while, I have to write the update part of do while as similar to while. So the update part will be k plus plus, and here the conditions came. So the condition will be until and unless k hit 5, this loop will continue to run. So that's the end of our do while program. So let's run this program and check. As you see, our do while program, it gives the same output as while and as for loop. So this is the demonstration of the three loops which we discussed, and now we continue to our next part. So as of now we have learned the basic three loops, which is while loop, do while loop and for loop. Now our next part is to do a task. So the task is you have to write a program that print the multiplication table of a number using a loop. So you have to write the program using all the three loops, which is for, while and do while. For example, user gives an input which is, let's say, 5. So you have to print the multiplication table of 5. As you all learn the multiplication table in your elementary classes, like 5 1s 5, likewise 5 2s 10. Similarly you have to print the output using all these three loop, for, while and do while. So now let's get started to code this problem. So first of all let me write the question. So the question state is print the multiplication table of a number using loop. So this is the problem statement, and we have to solve it using the concept which we have learned earlier. So let's get started. First of all, for taking an input from the user, I have to take a variable first. So I will name my variable as number, and our first step is to take the input from the user. So for taking the input from the user, first of all I will write cout, enter a number. Here, as you all know, this is the basic statement, and after that I will write sin for taking the input from the user, and here I have to write the variable name which is number. And then first of all I will implement the program using for loop. So I will write multiplication table of, and then I will write the variable which is number, and then I will write for loop. As I stated, first of all I will implement it using for loop, and then handle. So here I write a comment which is for loop, and then here our for loop is starting. So as I shown you earlier, for starting my for loop I have to write a keyword which is for, and then inside the parenthesis our first part is initialization. So I will initialize a variable which is int I, and I initialize it with 0, but I will not initialize it with 0 because as you all know multiplication table start from 1. So I will initialize it with 1, and then I will write the stopping condition. So I will run until it reaches to the position of 10, and the update condition will be I plus plus. That means I will be increment by a position of 1. That means I will be incremented by a step of 1. And inside the curly braces I have to write my instructions which perform my desired action. So here I will write int result is equals to number. Here it will perform my multiplication task, number multiply I. So what this line do? For example, my loop started and its current value of I is 1. So the result value would be number which is given by the user. For example, number is 5 and our first loop is starting, so the value of I is 1. So multiply by 1 is equals to 5. 5 will be stored inside the result, and then I will write cout and then number, and then I will give a multiplication sign, and I will write here I, and then is equals to sign, and then our answer which is stored in result, and here I will write endl. So what this line state, as I said, for any multiplication table, you know the format is firstly the number is repeated again and again. So here the number is repeated again and again, and then the multiplication sign, and then I. So I will be starting from 1 and end at 10. So first I will be 1, and then I will be 2, and then I will be 3. So this will be carry on, and this assignment operator here, and here I put the variable result. As you see, the answer is stored in the variable result, so I put this variable here. So this will give my desired result. So let's see by running the program. First of all, let me comment above codes, and that's good. So let me rerun this program. As you see, it stated enter a number, so I have to enter number. Let me put 5 here. As you see, it gives an output of the multiplication table of 5, as you see, and the answers are all correct. So this is the basic use of for loop for doing a multiplication, for outputting a multiplication table. Now let me do it using while loop. So now I will do it using while loop. And if you remember the above format, so first of all I have to take an variable. So I will take a variable k and I will initialize it with 1, and then I have to put the conditions. So before putting a condition I will write cout. I will copy this statement and I will put it here, but I have to change for with while. That's it. So now so first of all let me take this variable down here. That's good. Now we now I will start to write our while loop. So focus here. Now here I am starting to write my while loop. So focus here while I writing the code. Now I am starting to write the program. First of all, you all know the syntax of writing a while loop. So whenever I write a while loop, I will have to start it using the keyword while, and as you see it gets auto completed. And here I have to write the conditions. So the condition is until I reaches to 10 it will run, and then I have to write the code here. Sorry, I have to write k here because I have taken the variable as k. So I have to write the same code here. So I will copy the previous code and put it here. As you see, how much simple is this to write this program. As you see, it gives an error here because I have taken the variable as k in while loop. So I will change it into k, and then that's all. Here I have to do the same. So that will do the good work. Now let me run this. But first of all, let me comment it and comment it also. So here it is our while loop. So I am running this program. So it asks me to put a number, so I will put 9 here. Here as you see I made an error, and it's a very common error that a newbie can make. First of all let me terminate this uh, process. So as you see what error I made, so that it runs infinite amount of time. Here I forgot to update my steps, so here I have to write k plus plus. As you all know, I have to put a update condition. So this is the basic update condition I have to put. So that's all. I think it will run very. So now I have to do the correction. So let's check if it runs smoothly or not. First of all let me clear the terminal and rerun this again. So I will put 9 here, and then the output came as you see. Now it gives the output for while loop. As you see it is for while loop. Now let me do it for do while loop. As you all see, this is the game of simple learning the basic syntax and applying this syntax to write your codes. And this is very easy task to do. If you tried it 2 to 3 times, then you will understand it very easily, and you have to do dry run here for more understanding. So here, so let me write the code for do while loop. So as you all know, while and do while loop is almost similar. So as in while loop I have to take a variable, similarly in the do while loop I have to take a variable. First of all, let me copy this and put it here and change while to do while. That's good. And I have to take a variable here. I will take j, and I will initialize it with 1, and then I will put a keyword which is do, and then parenthesis, and here I have to write while, and then here I have to write conditions, and then it's semicolon. So this is the basic syntax as you see. So the condition will be un until j reaches to 10, this code will run. So first the code, so I will copy this and I will put it here, because both the codes is same which I have to write again and again. So without wasting much time I have to do it. So without wasting much time I will run this code. So let me run this code here. As you see, but it gives an error. So let me check what kind of error is this. And here I have taken a variable j, and here I have taken the variable j. So here I have to update the variable name j. So that's all. It seems good. So let me rerun this again. So here it is asking me to enter a number. I will enter a number 6, and then as you see our code is running smoothly. And this is for do while loop, and I guess you all understand the basics concept of loop. And in the next video I am going to show how you can make patterns using while loop, and the next video would be very interesting. So make sure you like this video and subscribe this channel for your future goods. Alright, time to introduce switch case statements. So switch case statement is perfect for situations where you have multiple conditions to check, and according to the conditions there will be separated output. So first of all, let me let us see the descriptions of a switch case statement. So switch case statements are a programming construct used in C++ and other programming language to perform different actions based on the value of a given variable or expression. It allows you to compare a variable against multiple possible values. As I said here, a user will input their value and it will check against multiple values, and if any of the conditions is true, then there will be an output given by the program, and execute a different block of code depending on the matched value. As I stated, user will give an input, so this is the input given by the user, and this input will go into our switch case statement. So there are many statement here, there are many cases here. So there are many cases. First of all, this is the case 1, and here it's the code that will run if case 1 will hit, and here we have case 2, and here it's the code that run if the case 2 will get hit. So that's like there are many sets of cases, and if any one case will become true, then then the code inside the case will run and give us output. So this is the basic use of switch case statement. So now let's see the syntax of a switch case statement. As you see, we start our program using the switch keyword, and there will be parenthesis, and inside this parenthesis there would be an expression, and Inside the curly braces, there are various kind of cases. For example, this is case 1 and this is case 2 and this is case 3. Likewise, there are many cases, and inside this case there have to be some code that should be executed if the case hit, and this code will be executed if case 2 will hit. Likewise, this code will be executed if case 3 would hit, and after the end of the case we have to use the break statement as you see. And if none of the case get executed, then there would be a default value. So if none of the case get executed, then this default will run, and here we have to write break again, and this break is for default one. So this is the basic syntax of switch case statement. So as you see, here we have a task again, and the task is we have to write a program to determine the day of the week based on a numeric value using switch statement. For example, user give an input 1, so you have to print it's a Monday. Likewise, if user gives an input 2, you have to print it's Tuesday. Likewise, for 3, it would be Wednesday. And last of all, if it's 7, then it would be Sunday. So this is the basic output you have to give, and this scenario you have to implement using the switch case statement. So let's go to the VS Code and start our coding. First of all, let me comment this, and then I will write the problem statement, which is program to determine the day of the week based on a numeric value, and you have to implement it using switch statement. So this is the problem statement, and now let's get started to write our solution. So as the problem state that the input should be numeric, so I have to take a variable with data type of int, and I will name it as day, and I will take input from the user. For that I will give a command which is cout enter a numeric value which is from 1 to 7 representing a day of the week. So this statement will be shown when the program will run, and then then I will take the input from the user. So the variable name is day. So the input will be stored in the day variable. So here, as you all know, the basic syntax of switch case statement. So I have to first of all write the keyword switch, and I have to put parenthesis, and inside that parenthesis I have to write the expression. But here I take the input in the variable day, so I will write day here. After that I have to put curly braces, and then I have to write cases here. So first case would be if day is equals to 1. So if day would be 1, then this case would be executed. If the value of the day is 1, then this case would be executed. So the output day would be Monday, and instead of endl you can write slash n. If you write slash and then you don't have to write endl. So as you all know, when we have to end a case, we have to write break statement, break keyword. So I will write break here, and then I have to put my case to here. I write this cases by copying a case, and then I will paste again and again for 7 times. 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. So here we have to edit it. If the value of the day is 2, then the output would be Tuesday. Likewise, if the value of day is 3, then the output would be Wednesday. If the value of day is 4, then the output would be Thursday. And if the value of day is 5, then the output will be Friday. And if the value of day is 6, then the output would be Saturday. And if the value of day is 7, then the output would be Sunday. So this is the basic case. And if you do not put a value between 1 and 7, then we have to write, and for that case we have to write a default case, and this default case is for the condition if above any case will not be true. So this default statement will be executed. So here I have to write default and then put colon here, and I will print invalid input. Please enter a value between 1 and 7. So as you see, if the user have not give the input between 1 and 7, then this case will occur, and it will ask the user to input a value between 1 and 7. So here I have to write a break statement also, break, and now I am running this code. First of all, let me clear the terminal. So here it is asking me to enter a numeric value which should be between 1 and 7. Now if I put 2 here, as you see it given output as Tuesday. Likewise, if I run this and I will put a value as 7, then it gives me Sunday. Now here if I don't do as per the instruction and put 9 here, so let's see what will be the output. As you see, the output is invalid input. Please enter a value between 1 and 7. So this is the execution of switch statement. Here you can add as many conditions as possible, and the code will execute the block that matches the condition. So this is the basic principle of switch case statement. And there you have it, folk. We have covered the basic of control structures including if-else statement, loops, and switch case statement. Remember, practice makes perfect. So go ahead and experiment with this control structure in your own codes also. And I have provided the GitHub link of the code that I have written here. in my description box. So go and check out the code and put a star on that repo. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful and it provide any value to you. Then please subscribe to our channel for more exciting programming content. Also leave a comment down if you have any query or any suggestions to give me, then you are very much welcome. You can comment your query and I will try my best to answer to that query, or you can give me any suggestions and I will try my very best to implement that suggestion. So thanks for watching this video and happy coding. See you in the next video.